Good morning, everyone. My name is Fidencio, and I have a couple of bad news for you. The first one is that you will have to deal with my terrible accent, and I'm not kidding, so I hope you can understand what I'm going to say. The second one is that there is a big trend in the technology industry nowadays. Like, it seems like nowadays the business is pushing us to build technologies in a faster pace. They are pushing us to deliver applications in aggressive schedules, and that kind of started a fire internally in our own company because now we have our own product that we developers like to develop like any general solution, but we also have sysadmins that they also love their own database solution, and we have database administrators that they have their own pick. So this is because we developers, we like something that is easy to code with. Sysadmins, they like something that is secure, that is reliable, that is something that is easy to scale. And database administrators, they want to see where the data is, how can they develop a new strategy to make it faster, how can they achieve like backup systems and all this kind of information. So in the past, we were like struggling, like we were fighting each other to push like each one of our personal preference. But now it seems like the decision is kind of simple, as you're going to see during my next slides. Because now we have Couchbase that is like an all-in-one. And I'm not kidding, I'm going to go through the reasons why we decided to go with Couchbase for this specific project. And you're going to notice that it has all the elements to satisfy each one of us. So let me start talking about DIRECTV. So DIRECTV is the TV entertainment provider. We are the leader in the US. We have more than 3,000 channels to deliver HD, SD, and 3D content. And just recently, we started also to broadcast 4K. When I say 3,000 channels, it may sound simple, but think about all the implications that it had. Like, for instance, we have to deliver certain channels just to a specific area, so we start to add constraints to say, like, this particular set of content is going to go just to a specific region in the country. So that's one constraint. And then you have another constraint, which is the format. So you start adding conditions over and over and over again. Like 20 years ago, the market was sort of simple. Like, we were delivering just content in standard definition, and the only product that we were selling was subscription packages. Today, we are increasing all our portfolio, and we have different formats. We have different platforms. We are also providing content for mobile devices. We are providing content specifically targeted for hotels, for example. We are providing content for some like bars and other venues. And we even have a new line of product that is for home security system, like surveillance system for your own home, which is something new and is something that not many people know about. But again, like that means that we have to develop a new environment in which we can bring all these products to you customers in an easier way. We have 38 million customers around the world, and mostly it's in North and South America. That's where we have all these different offices. We have DIRECTV Brazil, we have Sky Brazil, we have Sky Mexico, we have DIRECTV in Panamericana, and that's the brands that we own. So as you can see, this may sound kind of simple, but that means that we have to satisfy at least 38 million customers delivering content at the right time and always finding the results that we are looking for. So about a year ago, my boss came to me and he was asking me about a new project that he had in mind. It was something that was kind of challenging the entire development department to build something flexible, something where he can add additional metadata without compromising the existing code, without having to modify the existing database tables, because that means that we have to go through a development cycle, and that means that we have to spend time testing all these new features, and we have to spend time creating new UIs, and as you already know how painful this is sometimes. Another one of the requirements was to have the capability to have like this schema that was very intended for one of our products, because as I said, like we have, for example, content that is delivered only for the set-top box, and we have content that is only intended for mobile devices, and that doesn't look the same all the time. So he wanted to have something that was capable to render different schemas and different versions of the same schema without having to make any, like, as few as possible code changes. So in terms of that, like, it was kind of simple to come to the decision that we needed to do something with NoSQL. It wasn't hard to find out that we couldn't use relational database model for this particular need. So we quickly decided to go to a NoSQL solution, and there were like a few options back then. Then somebody came to me and suggested me to use Couchbase, because Couchbase was like a completely new product. And I started to take a look at it, but it looked like back then, I'm talking about mid-2014, it looked like it was just more like a cache or database system that was intended only for name value per searches. And I was about to drop the idea when I reached out to the Couchbase people, and they talked to me about this new feature that they call Nickel today. When we found Nickel and we reviewed all these bullets that you see on the slide, that we knew that the system was going to be reliable, it was going to be scalable, it was going to be a high-performance system or a high-performance solution, that administration was super easy, then we knew that we were going to go with Couchbase. That's what I explained, like it's a performance beast. Just in our POC, we found very quickly that Couchbase was like twice as fast as the closest competitor. So for us, that was like a big deal, because we can deliver content in a faster way. We know nowadays that the user, they don't want to wait a second to get their content, right? They want to get their content right now. That's what we are trying to achieve. Then they provide like all the different APIs, like RESTful APIs that you can use either to retrieve data, or you can use also to monitor like the whole entire infrastructure. So it's not just like a black box that you're going to be limited to whatever the service is providing, but you have actually options to build on top of it. And that was, for me as a developer, very exciting, because now I have the ability to also monitor what is happening internally on my servers, and I can know if something is going down because we're running out of memory, or if it's just an error in my application itself, or something like that. So that's how we started with Nickel. As I said, like one of the biggest constraints that I noticed with previous versions of Couchbase is that the only way that they were providing to search information was to use like a MapReduce function that were provided with views, but it wasn't suitable for our, how can I say it, to a general purpose application. If you wanted to write an application that was capable to perform queries using different attributes and not just a preset view, it was fairly impossible. When they introduced me to Nickel, we quickly realized that Nickel was offering us to have this flexibility to search with a language that looks like 99% the same as SQL. So for us developers, it was an easy transition. The learning curve was pretty much flat. We started to code with Nickel, and within weeks, we had like a product that we're 2 weeks from now, we're going to be delivering to production. So if you were wondering how ready is Nickel to go to a production environment, we're going to be delivering our first product to production in the next couple of weeks, and I think that that is big enough to feel like Nickel is ready for a general purpose application. So Nickel is providing us all these SQL-like commands, but it's also providing DIRECTV the capability to do operations at the JSON level within the data access layer itself, and not just from our code. This is important because that is a performance gain for us as well, because we know that we can bring information and transform it into application level, but that is not very efficient, to be honest. That's a two-step process, and we wanted to save that. And with this Nickel, we can do everything in the server itself, and by the time we get the information back, which is very efficient, very fast, we are practically ready to deliver it to the user. On the right side of the slide, you can see like all the different, and it's just a subset of all the different options that they have specifically for JSON objects. And if you go to the Couchbase website, you're going to notice that there are like much more than those options to perform queries against that. So as you can see, we have 2 queries on the screen. The first one is a Nickel query, and the second one is also a Nickel query, which means that with these kind of solutions, you don't have to be worried about to learn a new way to get information back from a document-stored system. This is pretty simple for us, and we were able to start coding. Like basically, to be very realistic, we spend more time developing our business application code, and the code that we actually had to prepare for Couchbase specifically took us like a couple of weeks to get to this system and move it to production. So in summary, I think that the highlights here is that Couchbase, with the introduction of Nickel, And as you saw in the previous demo that they presented, like the separation of concerns that they have between the servers, having a server acting as an indexing server, another server acting as a query engine, and another server taking care of the data. This separation of concern is allowing DIRECTV, or is enabling DIRECTV to separate like whatever is the power that they require to perform queries, to store data, and we can grow like vertically and horizontally. Tomorrow we're going to be presenting, we have our own presentation, DIRECTV. I want to invite you to meet us at, I think it's like 3 something. And we're going to go into detail to this presentation. And I think that's it for us.
Thank you, Fidencio. It was a great demonstration of how sort of Nickel makes it easy for application development and gives you the performance. Now I want to invite up to the stage Vince Valenti from Roomlia, so you can get a better sense of how they use that as well. Come on up, Vince.
Thank you. See you again.
All yours.
Back with another one of those block rockin' beats.
Well, I'm Vince Valenti. I'm CTO over at Roomlia. I'm here to talk about reporting with Roomlia using Nickel. So a little background about ourselves. Something not quite right here? There we go. A little background on ourselves. We were founded in 2013 by Michael Reichhardt and Jim Ferguson. And they're from Expedia, these two guys. We were in the process of developing a system, and we needed to create a travel application that allowed us to have a fast, quick user experience. We wanted something reliable, we wanted something fast, and we wanted something quick. So we merged with Remark Media in 2014, and we launched that same year, 2014, and we created an agency model-based system. It has a 7-day window, and it's over in 50 markets. We were introduced with Couchbase in the previous organization. We worked at Shufflemaster. We were doing a contract with them to do a social gaming layer. And our idea was we wanted to come to this social free-to-play system that allowed us to run on top of their for-pay system. And we also used really fast and responsive requirements as well. They introduced us to Couchbase. And being a game developer originally, I was really impressed with how fast this system was. I mean, we want 60 frames a second. We want fast response times. We want everything to happen quickly and easily. So this was a no-brainer for us. We decided that this was a perfect fit for Roomlia, and we decided, OK, let's go ahead and relaunch this with Roomlia so we can have our dynamic, fast, responsive system. Here's an overview. Oh, we lost one monitor. Here's an overview of our system. And what you see on the upper left is our exchange. This is our back-end system. This allows people like our employees and our hotel partners access to our back system. They can change prices, they can add hotels, they can change descriptions, add pictures, and any other operation we would need. Also, we have the front app that would connect directly to the Couchbase system. And then on the right, we have all of the Connect partners. We're connected with 10 connectivity partners right now. And that gives us access to directly connect with 100,000 hotels worldwide. And what that direct connection does is it allows for a hotel with a PMS system directly to type in a price, and they can go in. Excuse me? Oh, is this not working well? OK. Does it sound better? Oh, wow. Now I can hear myself. OK. All right. So this allows the connectivity partners, or the hotel systems, to be able to send prices directly to us, and then we can feed reservations directly to them. So the ask was this. As we developed the system, we needed a way to create operational and analytical reports. Our parent company uses Microsoft Dynamic AX and SQL Server with BI360 that uses Excel. And we use it for our reporting tool, so we figured we might as well use the same infrastructure when we're ready to develop for our system. In our current solution, we're using views. For important information we grab from SQL via Talent, and then we can extract that data with the BI software and then report the information. We also use it for operational reporting. So we take additional information, pull it in through Talend, run it through SQL, and then report there as well. Go to the next one. So our use case is simple. When we were introduced to Nickel, we were interested in advancing how we reported. There were several additions we wanted to make. We wanted to be able to update the data coming out of Couchbase without updating the view definitions. We also wanted to generate reports without having to extract the whole modified view. So what we do right now is every time a report changes, which it happens often, we have to go into view, we make the modification in view, we reconstruct the view, we send it through Talend. Instead of migrating data over to SQL, we just flush the SQL table and we pass the data through there. Then we wanted to be able to have our employees ad hoc reports using Excel. And they can create their own ad hocs without any developer intervention. And that was really important. We wanted to be able to make sure that people who are familiar with report writing, people who are familiar with SQL, can access and use Couchbase without a developer having to be involved. So our advanced reporting with Roomlia. We've been testing with Nickel, and we've noticed many advantages so far. The first thing is we've been able to take every Nickel or view query and create a Nickel pass with it. So we can create a Nickel query directly from Talend and pull data right into our reports. And we can add additional fields dynamically. And that's really important because now it shifts the burden over to the report writers. They can quickly create new SQL searches instead of us having to develop the new views. With an ODBC driver, we've been able to add directly data into Excel to perform operational queries. Our ultimate goal is to allow ODBC and Nickel to perform all of our operation requests right out of Couchbase and use SQL BI for analytical reports. The idea here is we want to save bandwidth. We need the analytical reports for BI 360 so we can match it with our accounting software, but we don't need it for the operational reports. So instead of having to have all this bandwidth transferring data back and forth between the two, we can just use a search directly into Couchbase to query and to pull that data. Finally, we want ad hocs for our employees. So the idea is employees and hotel partners can use ODBC, can use Excel, and create ad hoc, one-off reports that they can pull directly from Couchbase. And we're also tying it into our back-end exchange system, so they can use the same credentials, the same username, password credentials to access the data, and we can limit it by hotel, by city, by any other information. So we can create a system where we can create the security and still generate the reports and give it to the people who we want to give it to. So our key takeaway here is we really feel that there is no other technology that allows for the dynamic of a NoSQL system. The ability to create these JSON documents dynamically with schemaless and then alter them constantly as your business changes. But at the same time, the real strong power of SQL, the ability to create the structured data set that we can then bring over to a report and run them. So we're going to have a giveaway. So we hope that all of you will download and register the Roomlia app on iOS or Android between 10:30 and 11:30 a.m. today, and you'll be entered into the Couchbase drawing. And we're going to randomly give away 5 winners will win a 2-night stay in Las Vegas at a 3.5 or 4-star hotel. It's valid for any non-blackout dates. And we hope to have you all download the app and register and check out our product. Thank you very much.